The humble CEO wife. She planned to spend 500 million just to make him happy, but then she heard his White Moonlight confessing her love to him inside the room. She thought he was about to abandon her and leave. It completely broke her heart. Unexpectedly, in the next second, loud slapping sounds echoed through the room. Hu Xiaoqiao was slapped several times in a row. Her once delicate face was now swollen beyond recognition. I rested one foot on the sofa armrest, pointing straight at her nose and cursing. "Shut your mouth right now. It's just a kidney, you say. You make it sound so simple. You want me to donate it to him. Fine, I have no problem with that. As long as you take one of yours out too. Mine will go to him, and yours will be fed to the dogs. How about that? Shall we go right now?" Mu Xiaoqiao clutched her red, swollen cheek and said, "Are you crazy?" "Yes, I am crazy. Otherwise, why would I have ever fallen for you?" "Fortunately, I finally met the right person. She has cured me of my sickness. Take a good look. My wife is more beautiful than you, and she's richer than you too. I love her, not you. Tell me, what exactly would I want from you? Do I want a gold digger or a white lotus? Besides, you claim to love my brother so much, yet you can't even spare half a kidney for him." Gu Baizhi stood outside the door, her whole body tensed up. Her head was spinning. Huaiyan actually said he likes me, and he even called me his wife. In an instant, that decisive businesswoman turned so red it looked like she might bleed. Her heart was pounding. She was breaking into a cold sweat. A flash of panic crossed Mu Xiaoqiao's eyes. Does this idiot know about me and Mingshu? But she quickly regained her composure. She thought to herself that this man had no brains. He must just be jealous and acting like a child. So she softened her voice. "Huaiyan, are you doubting me? I've already agreed to marry you. What more do you want? Stop making a scene, okay? You hit me, but I won't hold it against you. But Mingshu has been waiting for you at the hospital for so long. He's going to be so heartbroken if you won't save him. Can you at least come to the hospital with me to apologize? Just sign the consent form, all right?" Mu Xiaoqiao was fuming with rage inside. She told herself that after the form was signed, she would definitely pay him back for those slaps. I looked down at her from above. I kicked Mu Xiaoqiao to the floor. "Guards, beat her for me. Keep hitting her until she learns to listen." As soon as I finished speaking, before the bodyguards outside could even rush in, Wang Ma was like a ruffled old hen. She pounced on Mu Xiaoqiao, throwing a flurry of punches and kicks. Wang Ma did heavy labor all year. Her strength could flip a wild boar. And Mu Xiaoqiao was just a pampered little princess. How could she possibly be a match for Wang Ma? She was screaming like a stuck pig under the beating. I felt a surge of pure satisfaction through my body. It felt as if all my ailments had vanished. Even my stuffy nose cleared up. Just then, the door opened. Beiji rushed in with a group of bodyguards. She approached me with a look of unease, unsure why I had changed so suddenly. Was it a real change or just an act? Deep in my heart, as I watched this woman walking through the backlight, I felt both heartache and immense guilt. In my previous life, at this very moment, she had caught me kissing Mu Xiaoqiao. With teary eyes, she asked me why. But I only insulted her, saying, "Why shouldn't I be with her? A useless woman like you who can't even conceive. Even IVF wouldn't work for you. Do you expect me to stay with you forever? Just sign the divorce papers. I never want to see you again." Mu Xiaoqiao stood nearby, as if she had just heard some earth-shattering news, staring at Gu Baizhi in shock. Then she let out a contemptuous smirk. The so-called favored child of heaven, the peerless beauty born at the finish line, Gu Baizhi, turned out to be a useless woman who couldn't bear children. She puffed out her chest with confidence. The panic from being caught earlier vanished instantly. She reached out to grab my arm and said triumphantly, "Xiao Gu, since it's inconvenient for you, from now on, just let me satisfy Huaiyan." The normally powerful and cold Gu Baizhi was crushed in a single moment. She never expected that I would use her biggest insecurity to stab her in the heart, trampling her self-esteem under my feet. Afterwards, Baizhi's private secret was rumored everywhere. It even made the hot search on Weibo. In just 1 month, she looked haggard and aged significantly, losing all the energy and confidence she once had. She didn't fear the world's gossip or mockery. She only feared being hurt by the husband she loved most. Thinking about those things, I could barely hold back my tears. Seeing Beiji once again, between those delicate eyebrows, there was a sorrow and pain that shouldn't be there. It was all my fault. I quickly hopped off the sofa, ran to her and hugged her tight. "Honey, you're back." Beiji's whole body stiffened. Trembling slightly, she replied, "Huaiyan, what's wrong with you?" I acted coy. "Don't say anything. Just hold me," and she obediently followed suit. Holding me tight, I could feel Beiji's warm embrace and her racing heart, recalling how she once held my corpse just to be with me. My heart wrenched. "Beiji, in this life, I will never fail you again." Mu Xiaoqiao had been beaten until the corners of her mouth bled. She had 3 broken ribs, lying on the ground, gasping for air. I let go of Beiji and stepped toward Baiju quickly pulled me back, as if to say, Huayan, please don't go near her. I gave her a bright smile, took her hand, and we walked forward together. I kicked Mu Xiao Xiao. You bitch, not dead yet? You really have 9 lives, don't you? I said coldly. Let me tell you one more time. Gu Baizhi is my wife. Don't even think about making me donate a kidney to Lu Mingshu anymore. Now you can get lost and go to sleep. You can have whatever you want in your dreams. I signaled the head of security. Remember this. From now on, dogs and Mu Xiao Xiao are not allowed in here. The head of security nodded respectfully. Wai Ma looked a bit worried. So does that mean the young lady can't come in either? Sigh. Your young lady is truly a rare case of a hopeless romantic. A hopeless romantic is just another kind of dog. Mu Xiao Xiao was thrown straight out. I smiled happily, turned around to see my wife looking suspicious and gloomy. She let go of my hand and turned to go upstairs, looking very determined. I thought to myself, what's wrong? Why is she upset again? I quickly followed her upstairs, into the bedroom. Baiji's expression was cold and distant. Seeing me enter, she handed me the card in her hand. Here's the 500 million you wanted. Take it and give it to your father. As for your older brother's situation, I've already had someone make contact. We can keep him from the death penalty, but a few years in prison is unavoidable, she said, her eyes fixed on mine. The pain in her eyes grew deeper. Suppressing that pain, she said, just be blunt with me. Is there anything else? You know very well I'll agree to anything you ask. There's no need to put on such a big show. I looked at her, feeling a surge of sighing and heartache inside. Look at how much this poor woman has been bullied. I've already turned over a new leaf, but she just won't believe me anymore. I took her hand, pushed the card back to her. Honey, keep this 500 million for yourself. It's actually a good thing if my father's company goes bankrupt. Don't get involved in my older brother's business either. He murdered someone in broad daylight. If you cover for him and people find out, both you and your company will be in trouble. I won't care about them anymore, so you shouldn't worry about them either. I figured it all out. You're the only person in this world who's truly good to me. I want to live a very happy life with you. Can you still believe in me? The corner of Baiji's eye twitched slightly. Her heart began to race once again. She stared intensely into my eyes, searching for any trace of deceit. But she only saw sincerity and purity, no acting at all. But can she really trust me? A few days ago, I also cried, saying I'd treat her well, but then immediately opened my mouth to ask for 500 million. To Baiji, 500 million was nothing. She wouldn't blink at giving it to me as pocket money, but I used fake affection to drain her trust. As soon as she nodded in agreement, I would immediately revert to my old self, taking a shower even if she just lightly touched me, always avoiding her. Baiju always felt insecure in a certain way. She was a normal woman. Unfortunately, her body had an issue. She longed for a normal married life, and longed for children even more, but she wasn't physically capable of it. She had loved me secretly for 8 years, only daring to protect me from a distance, not wanting to ruin my life and not daring to approach. That night at the hotel, someone set me up and pushed me into some old woman's room for profit. I accidentally barged into her room instead. At that time, my consciousness was blurred. Baiju couldn't resist the proximity of the man she loved. In response to my pleas, we were together. When she discovered I had a physical reaction to her, she was overjoyed. She couldn't help herself and stayed close to me again and again, desperately wanting to melt into my arms. The next day, the media reported the Jiang family was trying to cling to the goose to save face. I tearfully agreed to marry Gu Baiji. Even though she found evidence to prove her innocence, I stubbornly refused to believe her. A woman who had harbored a deep love for 8 years. Baiji let out her love for me like a tidal wave. She gave everything just to get a little bit of affection from me. But all she received in return was deceit. So I bit my lip, my eyes misting over. Honey, I will prove my sincerity. I will cut those people off completely. From now on, there's only you. I'll have many babies with you, okay? Baiji gave a cold laugh, taking a step back. You know perfectly well I can't conceive. Why do you have to say these things just to hurt me? She swallowed hard. The man she loved seemed to be right there, but she was afraid that sweetness was mixed with deadly poison. I gave a gentle smile, took Baiji's hand and placed it on my waist, whispered close to her ear. Whether we can or not, won't we know if we just try? I know you can do it. Just like that night and our wedding night, I'll prove my sincerity. And you should prove your capabilities a bit too, okay? Baiji's mind exploded. The rush of blood made her almost lose her reason. She quickly pulled her hand back, turned away. Are you trying to kill me? Jiang Huayan, don't push it too far. I smiled and hugged her slim waist from behind. Honey, won't you give me a chance to prove it? I'm so sad. My hands caressed along the curve of her waist, as if awakening every single cell in her body. Seeing she still hadn't reacted, I said with feigned disappointment, All right, I understand. My wife isn't planning to forgive me after all. I'm truly sorry, Ms. Gu. I shouldn't bother you anymore. After saying that, I let go and turned to leave. Unexpectedly, in the next second, Beiji hugged me tightly. Her breath was hot. Her whole body was trembling, glowing hot like a burning coal. Hu Weiyan, who taught you these tricks? How are you so good at controlling me? I suddenly felt a bit guilty. You're tricking me into wanting something, aren't you? Just be direct with me. If it gets too late, it'll be too late. You can ask for anything. Even if it's my life, I'm willing to give it. But I don't want to be played with. I turned and put my arms around her neck, kissed her chin lightly. I only want you. Beiji was breathing heavily, pulling me toward the bed. Truth be told, this 30-year-old virgin really knows how to work a person. That night at the hotel, she almost worked me to death. On our wedding night, I was wasted and stayed with her once more. This was the third time. When I woke up again, it was already noon. My back ached and my knees were weak. I couldn't even stand up straight. Baiju wasn't there. Rubbing my nearly broken waist, I went to the bathroom. I stood on the scale to check. My face darkened. I'd lost 1.5 kilograms. Losing that much weight in one night. Does that even make sense? She is truly a fanatic. After washing up and getting dressed, I left the bathroom, only to see Baiju walking toward me. Her face, which was once worried, turned as gentle as spring water the moment she saw me. She hugged me from behind, unable to stop herself from pressing against me. She tentatively touched my face. Seeing I didn't resist, she sighed with relief. This proved last night wasn't a dream. Baiju pushed her luck, gently lifting my chin. Are you done washing up? I still had a stern face. She asked, Don't believe me. Want to check? Then she moved to the front and locked her lips with mine. The passionate kiss made one's mind wander. The air was filled with the scent of pheromones. A moment later, she finally pulled away reluctantly, whispering, My lips use the same toothpaste, so why are Huayan's lips so much sweeter? Then she gently placed my hands around her waist, pulling me into her embrace, softly asking, Are you tired? My face flushed, but I still talked tough. Not at all. I'm very strong. After saying that, I gently pushed her away. Why are you at work? Beiju suddenly lost the warmth in her arms, and her heart felt a similar void. She dove back into my arms and hugged me. When you're the boss, you go when you want. If I don't want to, I stay home with my husband. Hearing this, I sighed and thought, what kind of talk is this? I'm just a hard-working employee. Beiji, I'm a grown man. You don't need to be by my side forever. She hugged me a little tighter. Her voice carried a hint of grievance. I'm afraid you won't be here when I get back. She buried her face in my neck and rubbed gently. I immediately understood. She was worried I'd run away again. That's why she wanted to stay and watch over me. Guilt and heartache welled up inside me again. I lifted her face and said tenderly, Honey, I will never leave you again. I mean it. She gave a faint nod. Clearly, she still didn't quite believe me. I put my arms around her neck and whispered something in her ear. Baiji's face turned beet red instantly. She forcefully pushed me against the wall. Really? I'll have to check for myself. As she explored, I gave a playful not stopping her impulsive actions at all. The flush spread all the way behind Baiji's ears. I still held her neck. I didn't lie to you, right? Honey, my heart has been moved by you. I like you. That's why my body reacted so naturally. Physiological reactions never know how to lie. I had proven my sincerity to her, and as a result, I got to experience her power once again. It was indeed too intense. I woke up again to the sound of my phone ringing. The caller was Mu Chow Chow. I forgot to blacklist her number. I've been busy ever since yesterday. Initially, I planned to hang up and then block her, but then a mischievous smile formed and I answered. Huayan, are you still pouting? She started off with a reproachful tone. It really annoyed me, so after I rejected her so fiercely yesterday and beat her until her teeth were all over the floor, she still thinks I am just sulking. Good grief, you don't think I am waiting for you to coax me, and then obediently go sign the kidney donation papers, do you? Mu Chow Chow, she said casually. Isn't that how it should be? I know you were just acting yesterday, because she's so rich. Her family needs her help again. That's why you're treating me like this. I don't blame you at all, as long as you are willing to come back. What I promise still stands. I will marry you. After she finished speaking, those annoying, sobbing cries started up again from the other end. It's definitely Lu Ming's shoe. I rolled my eyes in disgust. Taking a deep breath, I suppressed the urge to throw the phone, regretting that I hadn't finished them off for good. Otherwise, I would have had him buried alive yesterday. But that day is coming soon. I'll prepare a grand gift for this pair of treacherous lovers, along with my beloved parents and my brother. At that moment, another voice came onto the line, weakly saying, Jiang Huayan, can you save me? I beg you, without your kidney, I'll die. I'll work like a slave to repay you later. We grew up together since we were kids, after all. Can you help me? He wailed miserably. On the other end, Mu Qiao Qiao suppressed her anger while comforting him. I chuckled. If you actually died, that would be wonderful. When's the funeral banquet? Given the history between us, shouldn't I get a private table for the feast? After saying that, I burst out laughing. Mu Qiao Qiao immediately snatched the phone and barked. Jiang Huayan, you've really gone mad. He's your best friend. This time, let's see if anyone still believes you. I think you've truly been brainwashed by Gu Baiji. You weren't like this before. You dare insult my beloved wife? Past is the past. Now things are different. I curse at her. This lord is simply not going. If you're so capable, come and take me by force. If you don't have the guts, then shut up. You two are truly a match made in heaven. Birds of a feather flock together. Truly a perfect pair to grow old together. I'll say it once more. I'm already married to my wife, yet you keep bothering me over and over again. Do you know what this is called? Acting like a mistress despite knowing better, get it? You still dare badmouth my wife? Those 2 ribs of yours were broken for nothing, it seems. Why don't you take them back and make soup for your best friend? Open those dead fish eyes of yours and look closely. He's so scrawny he looks like the wind could blow him away. Crawling on the ground, he looks just like a stick insect. Even gods and ghosts would nod in approval at that sight. Try insulting my wife one more time. I'll put your entire family on a true crime show. A stinky girl like you wants to marry me. Go get sterilized and save everyone the trouble. I hung up and blocked the number immediately. How satisfying. But wasting effort scolding that crazy woman isn't my style at all. I said all that simply because I knew Gu Baiji was eavesdropping. The more fiercely I cursed them, the more delighted the listener would surely be. I suspect that certain eavesdropper, probably out of her mind with joy right now. I planned to go to the kitchen to make some instant noodles. Before I even reached the living room, I caught a tantalizing, alluring aroma. It turned out Gu Baiji was busy in the kitchen. In the past, I would eat whatever she cooked, but I wouldn't dare eat it alongside such cold words. What if I passed out after eating and she tortured me? I'd rather smash my head against a wall and die. And then I turned and walked away, leaving behind a table full of cold food. Gu Baiji seemed to be in a rather good mood. A smile played on her lips. She must have heard everything I just yelled. I stared at her stunning figure. I couldn't help but salivate. Suddenly, I called the system. Hey system, what's my seating quota in this world? A sharp, mechanical voice rang out. It's 4 children. But host, do not worry. Our system is very magical. The woman who carries your child will receive bonus points to her beauty and physique. She won't become less attractive. I nodded in satisfaction, staring at my wife's sexy body. I couldn't help but lick my lips. Look at those firm, round curves. This one look made me want to pounce and devour her whole. Perhaps my gulping was too loud, because Gu Baiji noticed me. She turned her head a bit shy and tense. Are you awake? Are you hungry? I'm cooking right now. My past coldness and sarcasm toward her had left a significant psychological shadow. It made her very afraid whenever I started to speak mockingly. I walked over and naturally hugged her from behind. I said, I could smell this fragrance from downstairs. Just then, my stomach rumbled at the perfect moment. It made her giggle. Her beauty was truly unrivaled. This scene was truly wonderful. Having children with such a gorgeous woman is truly the kind of entertainment everyone dreams of. Gu Baiji's lips parted slightly, her palms sweating, yet she tried to stay calm as she lifted my chin. She tentatively tried to kiss my lips. I smiled, cupping her cheeks, and placed a gentle kiss on those lips. I uttered a sentence that filled her with pure joy. If you want to kiss me in the future, you can do it any time. I am your husband, after all. She pursed her lips and gave me another peck, both happy and worried. Just as she was about to say something, the phone rang. She took out her phone to check. It was a call from a business partner. The screen showed the innocent, smiling face of a baby. I naturally took the ladle from her hand and gave her bottom a light pat, signaling that I'd watch the pot, and told her to go ahead and answer the call. Gu Baiji's face instantly turned beet red, the blush spreading all the way behind her ears. Tisk tisk. I wonder if her employees know their big CEO blushes like this. I wonder if they do. And so Gu Baiji walked out to answer the phone, all flustered. During the meal, I couldn't help but ask out of curiosity, whose baby was that in the caller photo? It couldn't be your secret child, could it? Gu Baiji nearly choked on her food. She looked at me with a hint of sadness. That was a photo of me as a child. Jiang Huan, you know full well that I can't have children. I was stunned. How much did this woman long for a child? Since she couldn't give birth, she had to look at her own baby photos for comfort. How pitiful. Successful people truly think differently. I reached out and took her hand. They'll work hard so you can have a child, okay? Gu Baiji was dazed for a moment, her expression pensive. After a long while, she said, "Do you want me to do IVF? It's very painful. I don't want to go through that. I accepted my fate a long time ago. It's all right." She spoke very calmly, but her eyes held a trace of unmistakable sorrow. I squeezed her hand tighter. "No, I'm talking about our very own child. A child carrying your blood and your genes. Wife, can you trust me?" Gu Baizhi's lips curved slightly as she tried to restrain her emotions, squeezing my hand back. "Thank you. Jiang Huiyan, you're still willing to marry me even though I'm like this." She completely thought I was just comforting her, feeling both bitter and grateful in her heart. I sighed inwardly, but ultimately didn't argue further. I couldn't tell her that. I was bound to a birth system. But when her belly starts to grow, Gu Baizhi will know I wasn't lying to her. I really want to see her expression when her eyes redden with shock and joy to the point of being speechless. Totally looking forward to it, right? But Gu Baizhi seemed unaware that to modern men, she is absolutely perfect. She has both beauty and wealth, and she's warm and pampers her husband. A black card for unlimited spending, hundreds of millions at her fingertips, and she's incredible in bed. And the fact she can't have children. Yes, the most important thing is being child-free. It's truly absurdly perfect. Of course, with me here, we will definitely have children. I must hold on to her tightly, let high-end goods like her back on the market. While lost in thought, I peeled a shrimp and accidentally got pricked by the shrimp's head. It hurt enough for me to gasp, letting out a soft cry. Gu Baizhi immediately frowned in concern, grabbing my hand to inspect it. The fingertip skin was torn, and a faint trace of blood appeared. She rushed me to the sink to wash the finger, then found gauze and a bandage to treat my wound. I said helplessly, "You're overreacting. It's hardly even bleeding. How am I supposed to peel shrimp like this?" She gave me a cool look, then gave me a light flick on the head. "Don't touch these things anymore. Do you hear me?" "No way, I like eating shrimp. Still, you aren't allowed to touch them, you dictator." She smiled. "I'll peel them for you from now on. Don't do it yourself." So that's what she meant by not allowed to touch. All right then, she used to peel shrimp for me before too. Except back then, I hated her bitterly. Treated the shrimp she peeled like trash. When Gu Baizhi put a peeled shrimp in my bowl, I tossed it straight onto the floor without even a glance. If she dared to add another one, I'd slam my chopsticks down and leave immediately. Over time, she didn't dare to provoke me anymore. Sitting back down at the table, I raised my index finger, clumsily using my chopsticks to eat. Gu Baizhi lowered her lashes, her long, graceful fingers moving deftly as she helped me peel the shrimp. A small bowl was soon filled. I rested my chin on one hand, prodding my rice with chopsticks with the other. Sigh, such a peerless beauty. With such a delicious wife by my side, the rice loses its flavor, and rather just eat her instead. Gu Baizhi felt shy under my gaze. "Don't you want to eat the shrimp? I've peeled them all. Eat up." I moved closer and gave her a loud peck on the cheek. Clack. The shrimp in Gu Baizhi's hand fell onto the table. Her fingers trembled slightly. She kept swallowing, sweating all over from tension. "Jiang Huiyan," she said hoarsely, calling my name softly. I popped a cherry tomato into my mouth and leaned in close, cupping her small face. The tomato brushed her lips and burst as I bit it gently. The juice exploded, sweet and sour, but it wasn't a 10,000th as sweet as her flavor. Aunt Wang came home from grocery shopping, saw this exact scene. She gasped, grinning from ear to ear. "Oh my, master and madam are finally getting along. How wonderful, truly wonderful. The late madam in the afterlife must be so happy. Look at that. Oh my, look again. Tisk, tisk." This visual is truly the finest in the world. Aunt Wang's eyes crinkled with laughter, grinning as she quietly slipped away, leaving the young couple their privacy. My job in this world is working as an employee in my father's company. Because I'm the boss' son, I don't get a salary. That's right, I receive no special treatment from being the director's son. On the contrary, because I'm capable, and because of my parents' bias, they dumped all the hard work on me, making me a glorified errand boy for my brother. In reality, I'd stay up all night writing plans. They'd be under my brother's name. I'd drink with clients until my stomach bled, but my brother would sign the contracts. It'd take the heat for offending people, while the profits flowed straight into his pocket. The family paid for a few insurance policies for me and fed and housed me, only to take every cent of my 3.5 million monthly salary to give to my brother. They put it beautifully. "You aren't lacking food or clothes. Just ask us if you want something. Isn't that enough?" Before, controlled by the plot, I really did resign myself to being the fool taking the blame, working myself to death for that family every day. I don't want that anymore. I don't even need the job. Just staying at Gu Baizhi's place, enjoying life, binge-watching movies and shopping. Damn, it feels good. The manager called to scold me. I cleared my throat, cursed him out, blocked him, and left the group chat in one go. Damn, that greasy bald guy. I finally don't have to smell his bad breath anymore. I just submitted my resignation and was stretching when Aunt Wang knocked on the door. It seemed there was something urgent she needed me for. I politely invited Aunt Wang into the room. Aunt Wang said, "Master, Madam just called, saying she left an important document in the study. You know how it is. No one is allowed in Madam's study besides her. Nobody else is allowed. Madam specifically asked for you to help retrieve the document. The assistant is almost here. Could you please give us a hand?" I vaguely felt this scene was somewhat familiar. It was exactly like this in my previous life. Gu Baizhu asked me to get a document for her assistant. Remembering how I was under Mu Xiaoxiao's spell back then, I had sneaked into Gu Baizhu's study and office to steal documents. I did exactly what she wanted. Afterwards, it seemed to throw Gu Baizhu's company into massive chaos. I remember she didn't come home for half a month straight, not even once. And as for me, at that exact time, I secretly went to the hospital to donate a kidney to that best friend of mine. Did Gu Baizhu not guard against me at all in my past life? Even knowing I wasn't on her side, she still dared to let me into her private study. I was dazed for a second, then nodded in agreement. I stood up and walked toward her study, entering the code to open the door. The door closed automatically. Aunt Wang discreetly turned away, without glancing inside the study. I took a look around her study, European style with a minimalist black and white palette. The thick carpet was soft underfoot. A massive desk holding a computer and some office supplies. Countless document files were neatly arranged, sorted by size and thickness, lined up like phone signal bars. I chuckled. I didn't expect her to have a bit of OCD. At the company, Gu Baizhu was staring tensely at the monitor, watching my every move via camera. She appeared expressionless and calm, but her hands were actually clenched into fists. Even her nails digging into her flesh didn't hurt. Her alluring thin lips were pressed into a straight line. Please, don't do anything to disappoint her. Don't shatter her beautiful dream again. Gu Baizhu purposely let me into the study, knowing Mu Xiaoxiao was instigating me to steal confidential company documents. She was terrified that I actually would. If that were true, she would rather end her own life. In reality, she was very clear-headed, knowing she might fall into my trap once more. But what other choice did she have? Did she have any choice at all? No, none whatsoever. Only the lonely courage of sinking deeper, despite being fully aware. I quickly found the designated document on the desk. Checking the title, it was indeed what she needed. After that, I randomly flipped through a few other files, neatly arranged on the desk. Gu Baizhu's nerves tightened like violin strings. Finally, I pulled out another document bag. Gu Baizhu closed her eyes in pain. That was the massive project the company was about to take on. If the entire file were leaked, the company would lose at least 1 billion yuan. Are you really doing this in the end? Deceiving her again for Mu Xiaoxiao, even willing to trade your own body? Gu Baizhu tried to appear calm as she lifted her teacup, taking a small sip. Crack. She crushed the teacup in her hand. Hot tea mixed with bright red blood, slowly dripping from her beautiful long fingers. She intended to turn off the monitor, but when she saw my image on the screen, her hands suddenly froze. I was sitting in her chair, busily writing and drawing something on a yellow sticky note. What is he doing? Gu Baizhu zoomed in the camera focus and discovered I had drawn 2 hearts, with an arrow piercing through them. I gazed intently at my masterpiece, smiling with satisfaction as I opened the folder and tucked the sticky note inside. Then, I sealed the envelope and put it back where it belonged. I even helped Gu Baizhu tidy up her desk a little, before grabbing the original documents and getting up to leave. From start to finish, I didn't once take out my phone to snap a photo, nor did I even glance at the contents inside that folder. You could even say that my fingertips hadn't even brushed against a single page within. It seemed like he had absolutely no interest in those classified secrets. Gu Baizhu maintained her composed exterior, but her heart was a raging sea of emotions. Her Huayan hadn't betrayed her after all. He even drew a heart. Was he trying to pierce her heart with his love? Her Huayan truly loves her, doesn't he? Oh, Huayan, you're making me so touched I could die. Baizhu felt warmth spreading from her once cold hands. Her body began to thaw and grow warm again. In an instant, tears began to flow uncontrollably. I carried the documents out. The assistant was ready to leave immediately after taking them, but unexpectedly, Wang Ma came rushing over, cradling a thermos in her arms. Sir, would you mind bringing this to Madam for me? This is the nourishing soup that the old Madam personally ordered to be made for her. Usually, I'm the one who takes it, but today, oh my body is just so achy and sore. From head to toe, everything is throbbing like a hammer. Sir, could you take it this once? Of course I understood that. Wang Ma was intentionally creating a chance for Gu Baizhu and me to be alone together, to help nurture our feelings for each other. I flashed a subtle smile and gave Wang Ma a wink. Thanks a lot, Wang Ma. Wang Ma winked back at me. Sir, good luck. On the car ride there, I leaned against the window, closing my eyes to feign sleep while talking to the system. System, is she pregnant yet? The system's childish electronic voice piped up. Host, you're being far too impatient. The two of you only shared your intimacy last night. I scratched my head sheepishly. That's true. So when she gives birth, will it hurt a lot? Of course not. Host, we are a childbirth system. Labor pains will be reduced many times over. It'll feel just like squeezing out a blackhead. Furthermore, after birth, the system will help her recover, making your wife even more beautiful and radiant than before. To keep a tight grip on her man's heart. I chuckled softly. If she only relied on her body to hold my heart, then I wouldn't last long in this transmigrated mission. Lasting attraction between two people must be based on the magnetic pull of their personalities. How many lifetimes can you keep someone's heart just by using beauty to enchant them? The system didn't understand. It tilted its head in utter confusion. It was merely lines of data interacting with the host according to its settings. As for things outside its programming, it naturally couldn't comprehend them. At that moment, the car slowly pulled up in front of a skyscraper. The assistant spoke. Sir, we've arrived. Would you like to head down to the parking garage with me or get off here at the main entrance? I looked up at the towering skyscraper and replied, I'll get off here. This is fine. Understood. The assistant helped open the car door for me. I took the documents and strolled inside, aware that another storm was waiting for me ahead. It wasn't lunch break yet, so the company lobby was quite peaceful. The guy at the reception, Hao Zhang, was preening and posing, fixing his appearance. Had heard that the female CEO was in today. He vainly believed he was far superior to other men, the most handsome and charming among the new employees. As soon as the female CEO appeared, he was sure he could win her over and marry into wealth. Who would have thought that while he was so proud of his looks, from the opposite direction, a man appeared who was so breathtakingly handsome, it left him slack-jawed. Delicate brows, bright eyes, broad shoulders, and incredibly long legs. His porcelain skin seemed to radiate a divine glow. With those seductive phoenix eyes, just standing still was enough to steal anyone's soul. His alluring thin lips were like petals kissed by morning dew. Collarbones were exquisitely sculpted like a masterpiece. He exuded a relaxed, nonchalant aura of a domineering CEO who was both pure and dangerously sensual. He didn't look real, but like a masterpiece stepped out of a painting. Hao Zhang, who prided himself on being unrivaled, crushing everyone else in the company, never expected that the moment this man appeared, he would lose so pathetically. He was too handsome, too enchanting, too captivating without being vulgar. A single smile could brighten the whole room, making everyone else fade into the background. Every eye was fixed on him. Seeing me approach, Hao Zhang immediately went on high alert. Included above. Hello, how may I help you today? I gave a polite smile and replied, Which floor is your female CEO on? I'm here to deliver something to her. I lightly swayed the bag of soup in my hand. This immediately made Hao Zhang roll his eyes in inward contempt. Figures, another guy aiming for the CEO. Pfiff, what a green tea move. The CEO belongs to him. How dare anyone else try to get close to her? The people nearby exchanged looks, wearing knowing, mocking smirks. Handsome guys looking for the CEO. There are at least 7 or 8 of them every single day. Can't these men come up with something more original? You're looking for the CEO. May I ask if you have an appointment? An appointment? I was speechless. Do I really need an appointment to see my own wife? I don't. Then I'm afraid that's a no. The CEO is currently very busy. She doesn't have time to see you. Hao Zhang sneered coldly to himself. He could deal with a dozen pieces of trash like this in one day. Sensing his blatant hostility, my expression darkened. Her mother asked me to bring her some nourishing soup. Usually, Wang Ma brings it. She's unwell today, so I'm here in her place. Which floor is she on? Since this was my first time at Gu Baizer's company, I had no idea which floor she worked on. If I hadn't wanted to give her a surprise, I would have called Gu Baizer long ago. Who had time to argue with this spiteful man? When Hao Zhang heard mention of Wang Ma, he knew there was an 80% chance I actually knew Gu Baiji, so he didn't dare refuse me as bluntly as before. He rolled his eyes thoughtfully and switched to a fake, sycophantic smile. Ah, I see. In that case, I'm terribly sorry. It seems I misunderstood. Please wait a moment, I'll call someone to take you upstairs. Saying that, he made a call to summon a woman over. She looked to be in her 30s, and her appearance was considered quite decent. However, her face wore a look of blatant flirtatiousness, and every movement she made was incredibly fake and showy. The moment she saw Jiang Huayan, her eyes instantly lit up. Hao Zhang said, Jiang Ji, please take him to see the CEO. Jiang Ji eagerly agreed. After I finished registering, she led me toward the elevator. Hao Zhang wore a cold, sinister smile. This Zhang Jie was the most promiscuous and attention-seeking person in the entire company. He started letting his imagination run wild, assuming I was probably some relative of Wang Ma's, trying to use the old madam's name to get close to the CEO. He's dreaming. Just as I stepped into the elevator, the doors of the CEO's private elevator opened. Gu Baizhi's face was as cold as ice, and for once, her stunning face showed clear signs of anxiety and restlessness. She looked around but couldn't find the person she was looking for, so she headed straight to the reception desk. Hao Jiang was overjoyed, his heart thumping wildly. Was the CEO coming to claim him for herself? The CEO asked, "Where is my husband?" Gu Baizhi asked with complete bluntness. Wang Ma had just called to tell her that Jiang Huayan was coming to the company to bring her some soup. This was the first time her husband had ever visited the office, so she absolutely had to go down and meet him herself. Hao Jing's face turned bright red in an instant, thinking she was referring to him. "E.O., you. Speak up already, where did he go? Do you mean? Young Master Jiang? Who else? Where is he?" Hao Jing felt like a bucket of cold water had been dumped on him. He wanted to cry but couldn't. His beautiful dream had just shattered. Inside the elevator, Jiang Ji didn't hesitate to scan me from head to toe. "Hello, may I ask your surname?" I didn't give her the time of day. Seeing this, Jiang Ji still refused to give up, continuing to force a smile she thought was seductive, asking one question after another. When more people entered the elevator, it became cramped and swayed slightly, so she reached out, using the excuse of wanting to steady me, to try and embrace me, but I skillfully dodged her every move, seeing that I paid her no attention whatsoever, staying indifferent no matter what she said. Jiang Jia began to feel irritated. She couldn't help but ask, "If I may be so bold, what is your relationship to the CEO? I've been handsome and wealthy since I was a child, chased by countless women. So naturally, I knew exactly what a green tea like her was thinking." Seeing that we were the only two left in the elevator, I replied coldly, "If you know it's bold, then don't ask. If you want to keep your job, then stay in your lane. Otherwise, you can just submit your resignation today." Jiang Jia was stunned into silence by my sharp retort. Her embarrassment turned to rage and she gave a cold laugh. "You don't actually think I like you, do you? Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I wouldn't even spare you a glance. The kind of man who only knows how to charm women, using your body to climb the ladder with that plastic surgery face. Aren't you just here to seduce the CEO anyway?" Instead of getting angry, I laughed back. "If I'm not here to seduce the CEO, then who? You? Are you even worthy? You don't actually think you're beautiful, do you? Look at that reflective panel right there. Look at yourself in the mirror. You look like nothing more than a legal contract wearing a wig. Besides, what future could you possibly offer that anyone would grovel for? And yet you dare use such vulgar words with me. Go to HR yourself and hand in your resignation. I don't want to see you in this company tomorrow." Jiang Jia burst into hysterical laughter. "Based on what? You? You don't actually think you're the CEO's husband already, do you? Someone like you in the eyes of the wealthy is nothing more than a ridiculous little toy. My being willing to take you in would be a favor to you. You really don't know how good you have it. Now get on your knees and beg me. Maybe then I'll give you another chance." She was obviously lying. What chance was she even talking about? Ask her grandfather for a chance instead. The system screamed in my head. "This woman is so loathsome. Do you need me to purify your lungs later? Breathing the same air as her is so filthy. What rotten luck." I wanted to laugh but had to hold it in. Jiang Ji was infuriated by my calm expression. She immediately reached out to grab me. "Someone this handsome. Even just one touch would be worth a lifetime." Since he wouldn't submit to her words, she couldn't be blamed for using force. Daring to touch me? I sent her flying with a single kick. She hit the floor. Ding! The elevator doors opened. Gu Baizhi stood right there at the entrance, breathing slightly heavily. Seeing that I was safe and sound, she let out an instant sigh of relief. I happily wrapped my arm around her slim waist. "Dear wife, what are you doing down here?" Gu Baizhi smiled. "Why didn't you tell me you were coming? I would have come to get you. I wanted to give you a surprise." Our affection for each other was palpable. I smiled and reached out a finger, tapping her elegant nose. At the same time, I turned my head to look at the woman, whose face had turned ghostly pale from fear. Now it's time to settle the score. In the next second, I suddenly let out a heavy sigh. I hung my head. "Huayan, what's wrong? Is it too hot outside? Are you feeling tired?" Gu Baizhi couldn't stand seeing me frown even a little bit, so she hurriedly asked with concern. I shook my head, pursing my lips with a melancholy look. "I feel like I am not good enough for you. You're so wonderful, so beautiful and wealthy, and I'm just a man who only knows how to enchant women and use his body to get ahead with this fake face." As I spoke, my eyes glanced over at Jiang Jia. She was so terrified she could barely stay on her feet. Large beads of sweat rolled down her temples. Her entire body was shaking. I feared she was really about to wet herself. I continued to pile it on. "How could someone like me be worthy of being your husband? I'm only worthy of being your little toy. Maybe we should just get a divorce. This Jiang Ji is so kind. She's even willing to take me in. Being with her might be the best choice for me. My acting was so deep and moving. I almost started believing it myself. Yang Jia frantically waved her hands beside us. No, that's not it. Not at all. CEO, I never said those things. I swear it wasn't me. Gu Baiji was no fool. She quickly realized that. I had been insulted by this wretched woman. Just now, when the elevator doors opened, she was still sprawled out on the floor. Clearly, she had tried to lay a hand on Huayan, but had been kicked away by him. Gu Baiju let out a chilling laugh. Without a word, she threw a punch that sent Zhang Ji tumbling. When someone dares to bully her husband, there's no room for logic or reason. Making frets is just for show. A solid punch is what truly counts. Zhang Ji groaned in pain, unable to get up. Gu Baiji followed up with a flurry of kicks. Zhang Ji was kicked several meters away. Gasp. She spat out a mouthful of blood along with several broken teeth. Gu Baiji asked me, "Which hand?" "What do you mean, which hand?" "She tried to touch you with her right hand." Immediately after, Gu Baiji's sharp stiletto heel stomped down hard on Zhang Ji's right hand. The sound of bones snapping, blended with Zhang Ji's blood-curdling screams. What a beautiful melody it was. Gu Baiji was actually holding back quite a bit. After all, her beloved husband was watching, so she had to maintain a bit of gentleness. She walked back to my side, reaching out to embrace me. She buried her head in my chest. "It's my fault for letting you be subjected to such disgusting trash." I nuzzled against her neck, coquettishly saying, "I'm not trying to tattle or anything, but they are your employees after all, so it's better if you handle it. What's mine is yours. However you want it handled, I'm more than willing to do it for you. Huayan, I will never let you suffer any injustice. I will definitely give you a satisfactory answer regarding this matter." Her eyes were filled with heartache. She was so full of self-reproach, she wanted to slap herself. She'd rather I get angry and scold her, but I just smiled and nodded. I knew my wife was the best. After saying that, I hugged Gu Baiji and gave her a loud, resounding kiss. Her lips trembled slightly as she clung tightly to my waist, refusing to let go. Just then, the assistant came running over. After gathering all the details of what had happened, they recounted it all. Gu Baiji's face grew darker with every word she heard. Although her rage was sky-high, she only gave a cold snort, rubbing the bridge of her nose. She whispered, "You know what to do, right? Take care of it." The assistant nodded. "I understand." Naturally, taking care of it didn't mean murder. In this law-abiding society, even a domineering CEO has to follow the law. Those two idiots would be fired from the company. Their actions weren't quite enough to land them in prison, but they definitely wouldn't escape heavy fines. Gu Baiji's legal department was already legendary for being incredibly formidable. Even a cockroach crawling in an opponent's house could be used as grounds for a lawsuit by them. But it didn't end there. They would be blacklisted from the entire industry. At the very least, Gu family businesses and their close affiliates, or any company looking to curry favor with the Gu family, would absolutely never hire them again. It didn't matter if you graduated from a prestigious school, or were part of the Ivy League, or held a PhD or master's from MIT. In this city, besides waiting tables or making deliveries, they would have nowhere left to go. Gu Baiji couldn't wait any longer and pulled me into her office. Closing the door, she pinned me against it with her arms. Looking up, she whispered softly in my ear, "Huayan, I miss you so much. I really missed you." I wrapped my arms around her waist, fully indulged in her warmth. We only saw each other a few hours ago. What is there to miss? This decisive, fierce, and seemingly abstinent CEO Gu suddenly let out a soft moan, burying her face in the crook of my neck. She couldn't stop muzzling and kissing me, saying coquettishly, "I don't care, I just miss you." She was just like a big puppy acting spoiled, making me giggle from the tickling sensation. I hugged Gu Baiji's waist tightly, pressing my face against her neck. "I miss you too." Gu Baiji's throat felt dry. The blood in her body rushed to her head. She looked up and met my hazy, dreamy gaze, my thin, sensual lips, teeth as white as carved jade. Gu Baiji gave a hard swallow. She called out softly, "Huayan, you want?" I immediately reached out to block her lips. "No, you don't want to." My face turned bright red with embarrassment. "This is the office. Don't misbehave." The big dog lowered its ears, resting her chin on my shoulder. "All right, whatever her Huayan says, goes." I asked, "Is there a restroom here?" "Yes, over there." Gu Baiji pointed casually. I escaped her embrace and went into the restroom. Gu Baiji coughed shyly a few times. Suddenly, a loud scream came from inside. Gu Baiji's pupils constricted instantly. She rushed toward the restroom. She burst the door open, only to see her little Huayan sitting cross-legged, sitting there pompously. "The bathtub in your office is really beautiful. It's just missing a fish." I stood up and walked over to wrap my arms around her waist. I lowered my head and gently blew warm air into her ear. A mermaid. Seriously, even though CEO Gu is over 30, because of her previous illness, she is still a pure woman even now. How could she possibly withstand such teasing? Gu Baiji tentatively wrapped her arms around my neck. It felt like being in a dream. And didn't you say you didn't want to? I smiled. That was then. Now your perverted darling wants to. Is that not allowed? With that, I lifted the woman's delicate face, forcing her to draw closer to me. I tilted my head slightly and planted a passionate kiss on her lips. The old Zhang Huayan, controlled by the plot, was truly blind. To give up such a woman with 1.78 meters long legs beside him, with a hot body, slim waist, and such exquisite beauty, to go groveling to a woman who only has mediocre looks and is a green tea type. But looking back now, I really want to slap myself hard a few times. The passionate kiss gradually turned up the heat. The battlefield shifted from the bathtub to the sink. Everything spun further and further out of control. 2 hours later, I started to regret it. Lying on her large bed. Whether lying on my back or side, my waist was aching. Blaming this woman. Wait, no, it was my initiative. First, to make up for past mistakes toward her. Second, wanting her to conceive a baby soon. To bring a surprise and also complete the mission. Third, I truly love this woman deeply. I always feel a strangely familiar connection with her, and an immense closeness, as if we had known each other for a very long time. But I just can't seem to remember. Not only that, I'm also captivated by this woman's body, the endurance and flexibility, along with natural bedroom skills. She always cares about my feelings, gentle and passionate, even if she has to restrain herself until her face is flushed. She can't bear to let me suffer even the slightest disadvantage. Her face, flushed with excitement, is still so beautiful it's impossible to look away. How could anyone not love a woman like that? In the afternoon, Gu Baiji saw that I had woken up. She came over and gently stroked my hair. Are you hungry? Would you like something to eat? I lay there groaning. Hoo-hoo, my hands are so tired. I don't have any strength left. Gu Baiji took my hand, kissing it. I'm sorry, little hand. You worked so hard just now. Thinking of the scene from before, my face immediately turned beet red with shame. I quickly dove under the covers. Gu Baiji gave a mischievous laugh and leaned down to hug me, whispering in my ear, clearly, you were the one who teased me first. Why are you blushing like that now? Pulling the edge of the blanket down, she lowered her head to kiss my hand. Is this spot still tired? Go away. I became even more bashful, burying myself deep within the thick blankets, curling up like a caterpillar. Gu Baiju hurried to embrace me. After much coaxing, she finally dubbed me out of the covers. Then she brought food over, feeding me bite by bite. Gu Baiju was born into a wealthy family, a true young lady born with a silver spoon, an heiress who had always been served hand and foot. Yet serving someone for the first time, she was strangely proficient, as if she had done this many times before. Even she felt it was a bit strange. How could it be like this? She assumed it was because back in kindergarten, a classmate forced her to wear a maid outfit to play the servant, thus gaining experience feeding dolls. But I knew the truth. In my past life, I was framed and had my kidney removed. I was bedridden and couldn't even stand. It was Gu Baiji who set aside everything to stay and care for me, feeding me bit by bit, bathing and massaging me, handling my IV drips and every bit of personal hygiene. In the final moments of my life, she never left my side for even a second. But in the end, she still couldn't keep me. Due to repeated infections, I still took my last breath in her arms. Before dying, I kept looking toward the door, waiting for my parents, my brother, or my best brother and girlfriend to visit me. Even if it was just one of them, even just to look at me from afar, but absolutely no one came. Thinking of that, my nose stung and tears welled up. Not because of the heartlessness of those people, those beasts who are worse than pigs and dogs. I had already stopped hurting because of them. What pained me the most was the regret of betraying such a good woman. Even if I was bound by the plot, I still couldn't forgive myself. I threw my arms around her, sobbing until I was speechless. Gu Baiji was truly panicked. She quickly set the tray down and held me. Hubby, what's wrong? Did I hurt you? Or? No, it's not because of you, wife. A few days ago, I had a dream, a terrifying nightmare, and still afraid even now. I'm afraid I'll lose you. Please don't leave me, okay? Gu Baiji remained calm on the outside, but her heart was melting with sweetness. It felt like her legs were wrapped in honey. She gently patted my back. I won't leave you. Huayan, you believe me, right? You are the greatest love of my life, a treasure I can never let go of. Even if I were told to become a goddess, even if I had to endure 81 lightning strikes, I would definitely cross this lifetime with you. You are my husband. Trust me, we will be together forever. As long as you still need me, I will always be by your side. I nodded through my sobs. I know, I believe you. Darling, can you tell me about that nightmare now? In my hometown, there's a saying that if a nightmare is told, it will never come true. I suddenly laughed through the tears, gently pinching her nose. That's just superstition. She replied with a gentle smile. For you. I'm willing to be superstitious once. I leaned against her, relating the events of my past life as if they were a dream, telling everything at once. As Gu Baizu listened, her brow furrowed, her hands clenched into fists. Zhang Huayan said, I was scared to death, but when I woke up and saw you were still here, it was so good. And then I understood that I shouldn't force someone who doesn't love me and isn't worthy of my love. Beautiful scenery everywhere doesn't compare to cherishing the person right in front of me. I will never betray you again. I won't let those terrible things happen. Let's just ignore those bastards. From now on, I only need you, and only you. After speaking, my tears fell again. Gu Baiji understood why Huayan had suddenly changed his attitude like that. Even if the reason was just a dream, which sounded a bit far-fetched, she still chose to indulge him as before. She would protect Huayan well. She had never let those scumbags hurt him again. Gu Baiji took out a handkerchief and gently wiped my tears, cupping my face with both hands. She nodded solemnly. I believe you. We will never be apart. From that day on, Vuong Ma's headaches and body aches seemed to become increasingly serious. Normally, whether cooking meals, cleaning the house, or stewing soup, she was extremely lively. She could jump onto the roof with a light hop and take down a bowl with one punch without even losing her breath. However, whenever it was time to deliver soup, she would start stumbling around, her face turning pale, lying on the sofa groaning, demanding I go in her place. The moment I left, she immediately turned on the TV and pulled a package from behind her of spicy sticks she had just snatched from her daughter, eating them with great delight. At the company, Gu Baizhi had publicly announced her husband. That same day, half the men in the company had swollen eyes from crying. The two were inseparable all day long, their affections so deep and sweet that everyone turned green with envy. The poor employees working the 996 schedule, already toiling like beasts of burden every day, living like little mice in the city, were being stuffed with dog food by the boss and her husband. The biodiversity in a zoo wasn't as rich as the Gu family's company. In a flash, half a month of sweetness passed. One morning, the system notification woke me. Congratulations, host. Twin boy and girl are now in your wife's womb. I bolted up in shock. She's pregnant? Really? The system spoke again. Dear host, since you successfully impregnated your wife, this system has received points and leveled up. You also have points now. The system shop is now open. Host can go in and select items. I quickly wiped my tears and opened the system shop. I saw that I had 200 points. The system explained that conceiving a baby gives points and giving birth gives more. And until the child turns 18, points will be awarded on every birthday. The shop has many support items. There are items to boost beauty, voice charm, skin aesthetics, physique and talents like martial arts, balance skills, speed, even skills like genius musician, genius calligrapher, or genius child chef, or even a genius doctor. After all, this baby creation system mainly revolves around childbirth, having a boy or girl, twins or singles, choosing gender, IQ, and personality. Talents and skills too. Even which parent the baby looks like is customizable. Pregnancy-saving pills, painless labor medicine. Life-saving medicine for hemorrhages. Postpartum recovery pills, all extremely useful. There were even more unimaginable things, like a 10 square meter storage space. Every 5 meter expansion costs more points. Absolute preservation features also cost a fee. What warmed my heart the most was the support items specifically for the female lead. For example, increasing her beauty stats, improving her physique, removing body odor, or oil control skincare artifacts, etc. Because if the female lead happened to be unapproachable, the system wouldn't force the host to blindly carry out the mission. Men are humans too, even though it's a baby creation system. The system never coerces any host. It always understands the host's feelings, caring for both physiological and psychological needs, so the host can be willing and complete missions in the happiest atmosphere. Huayan glanced through the diverse items. It was dizzying. Beauty boost? I don't need that. I'm already handsome, and Gu Baizi doesn't need it. If she used those, I probably couldn't even leave the bed. What I really care about are the pregnancy-saving pills, painless labor medicine, hemorrhage life-saving medicine, postpartum recovery pills, and the storage space. Back when I used to read novels, I was so envious of protagonists with storage spaces. Now it's finally my turn. Yeah. I gritted my teeth and decided. Spent 50 points on a starter storage space, spent 20 more for the preservation feature, and snagged 21 high-grade pregnancy-saving pills. I was about to buy the painless labor medicine and the life-saving hemorrhage medicine too. The system quickly stopped me. Dear host, these features are already built into the system. Don't buy them just yet. These medicines are only for very special cases, where the host would need to spend points to buy extras. I wondered, what counts as a special case? For instance, when the host's wife is in labor, but I am unfortunately busy at a meeting with the main system, or if something else happens that prevents me from being by your side, then you need to buy the items yourself. But the chance of that happening is nearly zero. Even if I skip the meeting and lose my bonus, I will specifically avoid her delivery time to protect your wife as safely as possible. Oh, my little system, you're just too amazing. Please straighten your tongue before speaking, host. After saying that, the system realized its own tongue was tied. It immediately went silent, whimpering. I laughed until I was doubled over, making the system whimper even more pitiably. After breakfast, I went out to deliver soup to a certain someone. All along the way, I thought about our future activities. I still gave my wife a pregnancy-saving pill. She, as the mother, has the duty to protect her dear baby. But as a man, I don't want to give up the pleasure and enjoyment either. Lately, Gu Baiji and I have been perfectly in sync, in both life and soul. The two of us are truly a match made in heaven. To find a partner so compatible, in both spirit and body, is truly an immense blessing. How could I abstain from touching her for 10 whole months? Furthermore, I don't plan to tell Baiji about the child, right now. As for the condition of the baby in her womb, whether it's truly healthy, they'll wait until we go for a checkup at the hospital, then I can rest easy. Arriving at the company, as soon as I push open the CEO's office door, I heard a cold shout, "Can't you understand human speech? Get out!" I was slightly stunned. My small face immediately pouted. Gu Baiji sat at her desk, her face grim. Clearly, she wasn't screaming, and her expression hadn't even changed. Gu Baiji saw the person wasn't moving. Just as she was about to look up and scold further, she saw her little husband, standing there looking so aggrieved. He looked so pitiable. His big round eyes were filled with tears. Clearly, her shout had startled him. She instantly bolted upright from her chair. A thin layer of sweat broke out on her. The majesty from moments ago vanished without a trace in an instant. She hurried over, gently grasping my shoulders. "Darling, did Nuna scare you? I was scolding a subordinate just now. I thought he had come back. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Your wife is sorry. Let Nuna make it up to you." Gu Baiji was so anxious her heart pounded. She feared her earlier expression would scare the boy into never being close to her again. If that happened, she might as well bash her head against a block of tofu. I buried my head in the crook of her neck and sighed. Oh my, is my wife usually this fearsome? I really feel for her employees. Actually, I wasn't angry at all, but I just wanted to tease her a bit. I intentionally pushed her away, turning my face away, placing the nourishing soup on the table. I knew it. People like you stop cherishing what you have once you get it. My hard work for you was in vain, a waste of my effort rushing here. Humph, and leaving. Saying that, I suppressed a laugh and walked toward the door. After a few steps, I glanced back. My pace was slower than a turtle, deliberately baiting Gu Baiji to chase me. Sure enough, after only 3 or 4 steps, I was pulled back by a strong force. Gu Baiji, flustered and pained. "It's your wife's fault." I scolded without seeing it was my darling coming. You'll look carefully before scolding in the future. Don't be mad at me this time, okay? Your wife will make it up to you. If hubby is angry, feel free to hit or scold me. Vent your anger however you like. Your wife definitely won't fight back. I tilted my head to look at her, seeing that she really wouldn't get mad no matter how she was bullied, letting her husband handle her however he wished. On my puffed-up face, a sly smile flashed. The next second, I slapped CEO Ka's bottom with a smack. Normally at home, I was like a little kitten who loved to surprise people. Whenever she wears something revealing and walks past me, I definitely give her butt a little slap, or I'd wrap my arms around her waist from behind and shamelessly whisper cheesy lines that would make anyone cringe. The old Gu Baiji would never have dared to dream of such intimate contact with me. Usually, I wouldn't even deign to touch her once. Even if I slapped her in a fit of rage, she'd treasure it so much she wouldn't wash her face for 3 days. Her face shows the demure shyness of a proper lady, but in truth, her heart is overflowing with joy. Though she's embarrassed, she absolutely loves it. She wants to be angry but craves more, and I can hardly hold back my laughter. The corners of my mouth feel like they're about to shoot past the solar system. Gu Baiju narrows her eyes slightly, immediately realizing that I'm not actually angry at all. She has been totally played by me. She wraps her arms tightly around my body. As a punishment, she gives the hollow of my neck a little bite. I let out a soft cry, not because the bite hurt, but because my lower abdomen just bumped into something hard. Gu Baiji seems to suddenly remember something. She gently releases my body and pulls a small ring box out of her pocket. She opens the box. Inside is a ruby ring the size of a pigeon egg. She lowers her gaze. Her eyelashes tremble slightly. She takes my hand, preparing to slide the ring on. I can feel that her palms are slightly damp, as she tries her best to suppress the trembling. It's as if it's so hot she can hardly hold it. She nearly drops the ring on the floor a few times. I know exactly what she's worried about. At our wedding 4 months ago, Gu Baiji wanted to put the ring on me, but I snatched it and threw it far away, tearing her heart apart. This man. Gu Baiji is truly terrified that I'll reject her again like last time. Even though I've changed my ways now, she's still so panicked that she's losing her composure. Jiang Huayan gently pats her arm, giving her boundless encouragement. Only when the ring is finally on my ring finger does Gu Baiji let out a sigh of relief. Her Huayan has truly accepted her now, hasn't he? Her fingers caress the smooth, brilliant ruby. She smiles. It's beautiful. I saw it at an auction in Country F and thought it would suit you perfectly. Do you like it? Even if you're not a wealthy young master, it doesn't stop us from liking nice things, right? If you haven't eaten the pork, at least you've seen the pig run. She says it so casually, as if she were at a roadside stall and happened to see a small hairpin and just easily bought it as a gift for her husband. But I know very well that this pigeon blood ruby is worth as much as a luxury 100 square meter apartment in the city center. In the past, when buying rock sugar, I wouldn't even dare to buy a piece this big. She's a real mobile. It's unbelievable. I nod hurriedly. I love it. Thank you, honey. My greedy side kicks in and I quickly call the system, asking if this thing can be taken back to my original world. The system is also amused by my greedy expression. How can this host be so foolishly and adorably money-grubbing? It replies, as long as the host completes the mission, of course you can take it with you. Gu Baiji lets out a soft smile. Her long, slender eyelashes tremble slightly on her usually cold cheeks. A shy blush quietly spreads. Joyfully, I spread my hand and hold it up to the sunlight to admire it. The ruby is so dazzling I have to squint, yet I can't bear to look away. She can't help but smile along with me. It turns out he likes sparkly things like this. He looks so cute. What should I do? While lost in thought, Gu Baiji suddenly remembers something. She goes to the fridge, brings out a cake box, and hands it to me. Here's the cherry black forest brownie you love the most. Give it a taste and see how it is, she says while ruffling my hair. I open the cake box and place it on the tea table. On top of the exquisitely crafted chocolate cake sits a bright, fresh red cherry, sweet and alluring, juicy and enchanting. I act spoiled, shaking Gu Baiji's arm. Then I want my wife to feed me. She gives a rare, slightly mischievous smile. Sure, but you'll have to pay a service fee. She gently wraps her arms around my waist. I lean down slightly and kiss her chin. Is this enough? The next second, I'm pushed down onto the sofa. That woman's picturesque face fills my entire vision. She leans in close, her fingers caressing my cheek and thin lips. Still not enough, she says as she prepares to kiss me. I bite my lip and lean back a little. I pick up the cherry and bring it to her lips, acting like I'm about to feed it to her. Baiji feels her blood boiling, hurriedly leaning forward to bite the red cherry in my mouth. The more she wants to bite it, the more I dodge. We keep teasing each other back and forth, leaving Baiji teased to the point of being between tears and laughter. I tilt my head to look at her. My eyes are full of triumph. Teasing her is truly fun. Baiji decisively stops caring about the cherry, deciding to punish this naughty man instead. She lunges forward, only to have me smear a dab of cream on the tip of her nose. Pff! I burst out laughing. I push her away, then turn around and actively climb onto her lap. Sitting high up, looking down at her face, I give a flirtatious smile, reaching out to cup her face, leaning down to use my lips, lick away the sweet cream stuck to the corner of her mouth. I instinctively reach out a finger, lightly touching my own alluring thin lips. The combination of my long, slender fingers creates an indescribable feeling. Gu Baiji's breathing suddenly becomes rapid. A mist covers her eyes. Her lips quiver, whispering, Huayan, it's lunch break right now. I'm free until my 3 p.m. meeting. Let me collect a down payment on that service fee. I let out a soft chuckle, placing the cherry in her mouth, then cupping her face and kissing her passionately. The atmosphere in the office gradually heats up. The little cake never expected its 4-digit value to be abandoned like that. Just as the two of them are lost in each other, Gu Baiji's phone suddenly rings. She freezes for a moment. This specifically assigned ringtone forces her to pause their intimacy. She reaches for the phone. I hear the ringtone and know instantly that she absolutely has to take this call. At the same time, excitement mixes with tension. I plant a kiss on the corner of Gu Baiji's mouth and mouth the words for her to answer. Gu Baiji nods and picks up the phone. I plan to get up and give her some space, but she presses me down, not letting me go. You just teased me into such a frenzy, and now you're trying to leave. I have no choice but to stay by her side, holding her waist, nesting my head against her chest. Gu Baizhi frowns slightly as she answers. Mom, is something wrong? Her mother on the other end says bluntly, when are you finally going to divorce that Jiang Huayan? Gu Baizhi clearly feels my shoulders give a slight shiver. She quickly pats my back, then says firmly, Mom, I've already told you. I'm not divorcing Huayan. No matter what, never. Stop bringing this up. You've truly been possessed. That boy is nothing but a curse. Forget that his family status is 108,000 miles behind ours. Our family isn't the type to look down on the poor and love the rich. As long as he treats you well, I would absolutely not object. But he can't even do that most basic thing. Not to mention his heart is always pining for another girl. I'm telling you, divorce him immediately. The Gu family will not tolerate that kind of person. Baizhi silently listens to her finish, then clears her throat slightly. The old mother is waiting for her daughter's response, waiting and waiting for nothing. Just as she's about to speak, she hears her daughter say, Mom, Huayan and I are living very well together now. He's the best man in the whole world. He's not the old Huayan anymore. Go ahead and defend him. If he's not the old Jiang Huayan, then is he some other ghost? Don't try to fool me. If you don't believe me, you can ask Aunt Wang. Huayan brings me soup every single day. The very soup you told Aunt Wang to cook for me. We are very happy right now. I will not divorce him. I'm saying this for the last time. Mom, if you're feeling bored, just tell me. I'll buy you an entire city square. Buy a square for what? So you can go square dancing to relax, Mom. The old lady is stunned for a moment, before realizing her daughter's point is that she should go dance if she has too much free time, and stop meddling in her children's affairs. The old mother is so angry she's seeing stars. Just as she puts her hands on her hips to launch into a tirade, her daughter straight up hangs up on her. She's choking with rage, with nowhere to vent her fury. She sees the throw pillow next to her and finds it annoying too, so she lunges at it and gives it 2 heavy punches. Gu Baizhi tosses the phone aside and hugs me. Don't worry. My mom just has a little misunderstanding about you. She's not an unreasonable person. I'll handle my mother, until I can convince her. I won't let her give you a hard time, if reasoning really doesn't work. I absolutely won't let her show up in front of you, to let her hurt you any further. In here for everything. She bows her head, whispering firmly in my ear. No one is allowed to bully my Huayan, not even my own mother. My heart feels incredibly warm. I hug my wife, burying my face deep in her chest, sobbing apologetically. It's not Mom's fault. It's all my fault. It's because I was so terrible before. It would be strange if Mom weren't angry with me. Wife, I'll go apologize to Mom, to show her my sincere intention to live well with you. Then maybe Mom won't hate me anymore, right? I lift my face, full of grievance and pity, tears welling up in the corners of my eyes. Gu Baizhi feels her heart being squeezed. She can't stand to see me sad. Taking out a handkerchief to wipe the tears from my eyes. It's okay. I'll always be by your side. If talking to her really doesn't work, I won't let the two of you meet and have a conflict again. She is my mother, and you are my husband. If the two of you don't get along, it's because I haven't done well enough. I snuffle and nod. Wife, it's not like that. You're the best person in the whole world. Gu Baizhi gently ruffles my hair, whispering, your wife is most biased towards you, you know? I suddenly laugh even though tears are still lingering, nestling deep into her chest. Mumbling softly, recalling what happened with my mother-in-law in my past life. Mother-in-law was truly an exceptionally good mother-in-law. When I first became their son-in-law, she gave me cars, money, and even a house. The old lady knew well her daughter had secretly loved Jiang Huayan for many years, and also knew her daughter couldn't have children. She had no idea that I had already cured Gu Baizhi. Gu Baizhi was afraid that if her mother found out, she would pester me with questions, and force me to consummate the marriage with her. Doing so would only make Huayan more resentful. The kind mother-in-law had no intention of wasting my life, but promised that once public opinion settled, we could divorce. Afterwards, I could take everything she had gifted me. She would even compensate me with a huge sum of money, even with my blood-sucking family members. The Gu family had been patient time and time again, but my past self never understood the meaning of gratitude, always using the most malicious words and tactics to hurt the Gu family. In the end, my mother-in-law couldn't take it anymore. She vehemently opposed her daughter staying with me, thinking of the past life. Gu Baizhi was later tormented to the point of losing her soul. The once elegant and noble mother-in-law aged rapidly. Plagued by illness, her hair turned completely white. Finally, after Gu Baizhi committed suicide by jumping into the sea with me, the old lady went completely insane. robbed of all her assets by relatives, thrown into a nursing home with no one to care for her. Her body was filthy, with sores rotting to the bone. Infected wounds caused her body to rot, pus flowing constantly. She died in agony, a truly tragic end. Thankfully, I am now in this mission world. Thankfully, everything can start over. There's still time to change everything. I swear that in this life, I will absolutely not let my stupidity involve innocent people ever again. Gu Baiji had to comfort me for a long time, before I stopped sniffling and crying. Actually, I don't like being a crybaby at all. I've always been very strong myself. It's just that I wanted to curl up in my wife's arms and act a little spoiled, that's all. Gu Baiji uses his small fork to feed me bites of cake. Every time my alluring thin lips nibble the fork, it's like adding fuel to the fire in her heart, making her almost go crazy with desire. After finishing the cake, in Gu Baiji's eyes, I now suddenly turn into a delicious little piece of cake. Someone narrows her eyes and approaches me as if wanting to devour me whole. Even a fool would understand what she wants. But out of concern for the little sprout in her belly, I reach out to stop her. Not today. Why not? She looks unhappy. Grabbing my hand, she lifts her shirt and presses my hand onto her lower abdomen. Is it that you don't like it? I nearly choke on my own saliva. That's not it, silly. There's no time left today. I have to make a trip to the hospital in a bit. Hearing hospital, Gu Baiji immediately becomes anxious. Are you going to donate your kidney to that animal again? I know she's misunderstanding everything. I quickly wave my hand to explain. Please rest assured. He'll absolutely never do such a stupid thing again. I'm going there just to put on a good show. Gu Baiji still tensely grips my wrist. I'm going with you. I give a devious smile. Fine. Let's go together. They are my prey. You just watch the fun from the sidelines, don't intervene. To deal with those types, you must strike before they can react. If you pull weeds without removing the roots, they'll sprout again when the spring breeze blows. But if you pull them up by the roots, then no matter how hard the spring breeze blows across the land, they'll never be able to come back to life. I prepared a big gift for my dear parents, my good brother, and for that ex-girlfriend too. I hope they'll kneel properly to receive it. I've arrived at the hospital. First, I take Gu Baijiu for a checkup. The doctor tells me the baby is definitely very healthy. No need to worry at all, but for now, it's not yet possible to tell if it's multiple or a single pregnancy. We have to wait a bit longer for an accurate result. Only then can I feel somewhat relieved. I tuck the lab results away and walk out of the clinic. Mu Xiao is right in the next clinic, having her broken arm re-examined. The two of us cross paths like old enemies meeting on a narrow road. Mu Xiao didn't even recognize me at first. The old me didn't care for appearances or grooming. My family never lacked money to begin with. Just because of one comment from Mu Xiao, saying I don't like boys who wear revealing clothes. I had turned myself into someone who dressed buttoned up all day long. But the current me, after taking care of my fair skin and my exquisite looks, stands out from the surrounding crowd, creating a completely different boundary. Long, slender legs and an ethereal, extraordinary aura. That ring with its dazzlingly brilliant gemstone is drawing everyone's eyes. In a flash, Mu Xiao is stunned with amazement. She feels inferior, wondering how she could ever have the luck to know me. But the moment she recalls my previous simp behavior, she immediately regains her full confidence. She proudly walks up to me. Huayan. Finally, you couldn't suppress your longing and came to find me. I turn to give her a few glances, then curl my lip and start roasting her. Well. Hey, shorty, why hasn't heaven punished you yet? My friends burn incense every day, praying you die in place of a good person. How come it hasn't worked at all? From now on, I swear I'll never be superstitious again. Mu Xiao isn't even angry after hearing that. On the contrary, she turns her head with a contemptuous smile. She shakes her head helplessly and pokes her cheek with her tongue. Jiang Huan, stop acting so childish. You're an adult now. Stop with these infantile games. This playing hard to get a few times is enough. When that rich fool named Ju isn't around, can you stop acting, please? I hurl my bunch of car keys at her, the fake diamonds encrusted on them. Gash Mu Xiao's forehead until it bleeds. You lunatic. You're the fool, the moron, you damn wretch. Damn it, I dare you to insult my wife one more time. Do your teeth grow in your sphincter? Because your words are full of crap. You're only good at opening your mouth, but nothing human ever comes out. The fact that I didn't beat you to death last time was me showing far too much mercy. Does a mere dog really think it's a lion now? Was the pesticide sprayed in the pumpkin patch today actually alcohol? Just how much have you been drinking? Think you could ever compare yourself to my wife? Mu Xiao touched her forehead and felt the blood flowing. The corner of her mouth twitched instantly. Suppressing her rage, she hissed, Jiang Huan, I've said enough, don't you understand? Aren't you just doing all this just to get my attention? I already gave you my promise. As long as you help me get what I want, I guarantee I'll help you get that divorce. I promise I won't despise you and will stay by your side. Just how much longer are you going to keep throwing this tantrum? Can't you just be sensible for once? Oh, look at that. You're just doing this to get my attention. I took a step closer, flashing her a gentle smile. Mu Chow Chow thought I had agreed. Her expression softened immediately. She had just stepped forward to when her head was struck once again. This car key doesn't just have rhinestones, it's got studs too. There's no way I can't beat this green tea bitch to death with it. I was about to strike again. Mu Chow Chow grabbed my wrist tightly. I didn't expect. That Gu Baizi would have corrupted you this much. It's fine if you hit me, but since you're already here, go and sign the organ donation agreement. This is what you owe Ming-Shu. Saying that, she dragged me toward the inpatient ward. I pretended to resist but couldn't break free. I let her lead the way. Of course, I could have escaped at any moment. But if I don't go see that wretched bastard, then the next act of this great play, how can it go on? We arrive at the door of Lu Mingshu's hospital room. I saw him leaning back against the bed, wearing a patient's gown, which only made his face look more pale and sickly. He thought it was just Mu Chiao Chow arriving. He was just about to start his performance. He didn't expect to see me right behind her. He was instantly stunned. Upon seeing my handsome, imposing face, he was both terrified and furious. We haven't met for a few days. How could he become this handsome and charismatic? He's leaving me in the dust by miles. Mu Chiao Chow clutched my wrist, unwilling to let go. Her eyes were glued to me as if mesmerized. I shook off Mu Chiao Chow's hand. I used my right hand to tuck a strand of hair behind my ear, accidentally revealing the ring that my dear wife gave to me. A ruby as big as a pigeon's egg. The ring, the reflected light caused Lu Mingshu's pupils to tremble in shock. Why is this bastard Jiang Huan so lucky? He just walked into some random room and managed to climb into the bed of a true elite family. That piece of trash should have been, by that pig-like fat woman, pinned down and crushed. He should have been tortured to death to satisfy my spite. Lu Mingshu bit his lip. Tears fell instantly, looking as aggrieved as if the Jade Emperor himself owed him the entire galaxy. I rubbed my hands together in great anticipation. Here it comes, here it comes. This green tea boy is about to start his act again. He's about to speak. Seeing him cry, Mu Chow Chow immediately ran over and hugged him. Mingshu, is something hurting? Should I go get Dr. Sun? Lu Mingshu shook his head. With a pained look, he reached out to caress Mu Chow Chow's foot. What happened to your wound? Does it hurt? Sobbing. Go and get it treated. Really, Nuna Chow Chow, you are the most important. You are the only child for 5 generations of your Nothing must happen. Seeing that Lu Mingsu's first words weren't a complaint, but were instead filled with concern for her injury, Mu Chiao Chow's heart melted into water instantly. The comparison only fueled her rage. Thinking about my violent behavior toward her, she couldn't help but glare at me with sharp, icy eyes, expressing her utter reproach. Lu Mingshu probably guessed it already, that this wound was definitely caused by me. He was feeling incredibly smug inside, but on the outside he said, "Was it Huayan who hit you?" Numa Chiao Chow, please don't blame Huayan. He probably saw how close we are, and did that out of jealousy. I know I shouldn't be so close to you, but I'm sick, I'm dying. I'm so scared. I just want to have someone by my side. After saying that, he turned toward me again. Tears fell like a broken string of beads. Anyone watching would find him pitiful. Huayan, I don't blame you. You live a life of luxury with the Gu family, decked in gold and silver, eating well and dressing well. Poor people like us shouldn't have troubled you. It's just that I was too selfish. I just wanted to have 2 good friends by my side during my final days. That's why I kept bothering you. I know kidney donation is no small matter. It's only natural if you don't want to. These words were filled with sarcasm and coercion, continuously employing hypocritical moral pressure, speaking until Mu Kiao Kiao's eyes turned red. Her 2 fists were clenched tight, glaring at me in fury as if I had just violated a divine law. I clicked my tongue twice. Lu Mingshu, you haven't even eaten soybeans yet, so why are you already farting? The fact that you drugged me, threw me to that fat woman, and even called reporters to take photos, trying to destroy my reputation. You didn't breathe a single word about that, did you? I already have the evidence in my hands. I haven't sued you yet just to give you some time. Hurry up and burn some Joss paper for yourself, so you won't have to worry about food once you're down there. Do you still expect me to donate a kidney to you? How could you be thick-skinned enough to say such words? Maybe I should donate some brain to you instead. Your head is so big, don't leave it empty. Lu Mingshu was immediately scolded into speechless silence. Feeling guilty, he clenched his fists tightly. In fact, this wasn't the first or second time Lu Mingshu had done such things. Lu Mingshu was the son of the Jiang family's nanny. He had grown up with me since childhood. As a child, Lu Mingshu was very sweet-talked. He charmed everyone in the Jiang family into loving him. He even attended the same schools as me, from elite kindergarten all the way to elite high school. Later, he only scored over 200 points on the college entrance exam. There was truly no other way, so they had to send him abroad just to gild his resume. I always regarded him as a blood brother. I shared every good thing with him. Designer bags, jewelry, clothes. Whenever he asked, I gave them to him without blinking an eye. Who would have thought that Lu Ming-shu would dare to steal my own fiancé? He even secretly posted articles, slandering me as a man who would hit on any woman he saw. A complete womanizer. He even claimed I used money to insult his character, treating him like a dog to be ordered around, claiming that in my heart I never respected him. This caused me to be despised by everyone throughout high school, subjected to all kinds of bullying and humiliation, while Lu Ming-shu became the male god in everyone's eyes at school, enjoying all the glory. Previously, I was controlled by the plot, stupid enough not to distinguish between a human and a dog. Now that I've awakened, I certainly won't let him deceive me anymore. In my previous life on this very day, I donated my kidney. But I didn't know that Lu Ming-shu didn't have kidney disease at all. My kidney was sold by him, in exchange for a brand new designer watch. And I, because of my own stupidity, ended up causing my own death. After awakening, I finally understood. Lu Ming-shu wasn't just jealous of me, wanting to surpass me, overpower me. He actually wanted my life. Lu Ming-shu quickly burst into wretched tears. I didn't mean to hurt you, really. I only wanted to bring you and Nuna Kiao Kiao together. You were always suspicious of us. I just wanted to help you. Sobbing, I didn't expect it would push you into the hands of that monster. He struggled to crawl off the bed, deliberately going barefoot. Stumbling toward the door, he grabbed my hand tightly. Huayan, don't worry as long as you're willing to help me. I will definitely find a way to help you get a divorce. Does she treat you very badly? Those rich people don't care about anyone. You don't need to force yourself to pretend you're living a good life. I know you're suffering a lot. I will help set you free. I burst out laughing from sheer anger. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Using the hand wearing that massive ruby, I smoothed back my hair, dazzling that bastard once again. Help me escape my misery? Help me divorce Gu Baiji, just so you can have a chance to marry her, right? Having his true intentions exposed, the green tea boy was instantly stunned, quickly trying to justify himself. I don't. What nonsense are you talking about? You think I don't know? 2 months ago, you begged my wife to invite the two of us to dinner. As a result, you wore a shirt with a plunging neckline to meet your friend's wife. Moreover, in the restaurant, while I was in the restroom, you deliberately leaned in close to my wife. You were thick-skinned enough to almost press your face against hers. If my wife hadn't dodged quickly, then by now, her face would have been crushed by you. Exactly. I've also obtained the restaurant video. Want to see it? That "do you want to see it" of mine was meant for the person standing right there. The person whose cuckold horns are already reaching the ceiling. As expected, Mu Qiao Qiao's mouth twitched. Her face was filled with suspicion. Lu Ming-shu's mask was about to slip off. Inside, he was utterly consumed by rage. Today, no matter what, I must take everything from Jiang. Huayan, the Jiang family's son is already certain to receive the death penalty. As long as Jiang Huayan becomes a cripple, he wants to see if the Jiang family will still let him inherit the company. See if Gu Baiji will still treat him like a treasure. In Lu Ming-shu's heart, only that woman, perfect as a jade jewel, could be worthy of him. Mu Qiao Qiao was merely a temporary stepping stone, just an ATM and a way to regulate his hormones. Lu Ming-shu coughed a few times. His frail body looked as if it were about to collapse. He grabbed my arm and prepared to fall, looking incredibly pitiful, full of fragility, as if he were a helpless, weak soul, trying to survive in his final moments. Mu Qiao Qiao immediately felt heartbroken again. Lu Ming-shu isn't that kind of person. Jiang Huayan must be trying to drive a wedge between us. She hurriedly pulled a folder out of the drawer. Jiang Huayan, everything from the past is over. Why do you keep trying to dig it up? Ming-shu already apologized. What more do you want? He's sick right now. He shouldn't be agitated. Quickly, come here and sign the organ donation agreement. For the 3rd time, I used the hand with that massive ruby to smooth back a strand of hair that was already perfectly in place. The ruby light shone directly into his eyes. Expel this wretched idiot from the human world for me. I forcefully shoved Lu Ming-shu away. Stop with the drama already. You don't have any illness at all. You just ate some spoiled crab and got food poisoning. What's this about pretending to have kidney failure? Lu Ming-shu collapsed weakly to the floor, immediately breaking into sobs. I was truly sick and tired of watching his performance, preparing to expose his true face once and for all. Lu Ming-shu's eyes darted back and forth. He let out a loud wail and burst into tears, lushing forward to grab my legs tightly, wailing loudly toward the hallway. Huayan, how could you slander me like this? My condition is clearly written on the diagnostic report. How dare you say I'm faking it? We've been best friends for over 20 years. I'm dying. Only your kidney can save me. Why won't you help me? Do you want to just watch me die? At first, we agreed that if you donated your kidney to me, I would give you 150 million as compensation. Now you're demanding 500 million. My family really doesn't have that much money. My mother has to work 3 jobs every day, sobbing. If possible, I'd rather just die and be done with it, to save my mother from suffering, and to stop being looked down upon by you. Your family earns billions every month. Why do you still have to treat me like this? His wailing instantly drew everyone in the hallway to come and watch. In a hidden corner, Lu Mingxiu grinned triumphantly, wanting to use public pressure to force me to sign the agreement. Most people hospitalized here are seriously ill. Cancer, kidney failure, leukemia. They and their relatives are completely different from minor patients, or from the way normal people think. Everyone yearns for someone to reach out and help, to help themselves or their families. Hearing that I was willing to donate a kidney to save someone, everyone was incredibly admiring. But upon hearing that I suddenly raised the price, they were instantly filled with indignation, applying that situation to themselves and their loved ones. As expected, someone started shouting, "You already promised 150 million, and now you suddenly raise the price. Aren't you just driving them to their death? If you didn't want to, you shouldn't have promised in the first place, giving someone hope only to make them despair. Damn it, what kind of person are you? You look as beautiful as an angel. But why are you so cruel? Why don't you just drop dead?" Among them, there was a middle-aged woman who was extremely agitated. She rushed forward and pointed right at my nose, scolding me. "Are you even human? Your family makes so much money. What's another 500 million to you? If you weren't going to save them, you shouldn't have promised at all. To promise and then go back on your word. How can someone as cruel as you exist in this world?" Having said that, she slumped to the floor and wailed miserably. A young man in a patient's gown, thin and sickly looking, ran over to hug his mother. The mother and son hug each other, sobbing uncontrollably. Clearly, this young man was very seriously ill. He had reached the end of his rope, which was why the mother broke down so easily out of empathy. I am merely a cold person, not one with a heart of stone. The emotions of these people were already very fragile. Just a little provocation and their entire world felt like it was collapsing. I won't hold it against them without distinguishing right from wrong. The true mastermind is Lu Mingxiu. I grabbed Lu Mingxiu by the collar and dragged him up. I raised my hand and slapped him right in the face. Lu Mingxiu was stunned by the hit. Slap. The second slap landed exactly as expected. I pinned him against the doorframe. "Stop acting. You dare to go with me to the central hospital, to have another health checkup, to get a brand new medical certificate, to see whether you actually have kidney failure or not." Lu Mingxiu immediately felt guilty. "Why should I go with you? I already have the diagnostic report." I saw both of their expressions shifting constantly. Knowing my provocation tactic had worked its magic, preparing to cast the final net. "I see that you just don't dare, because you don't have kidney failure at all. What you want isn't my kidney. What you really want is my life, right? If I'm dead, you can seize my assets, seize my woman. Perhaps I shouldn't call you Lu Mingxiu, but instead call you Shut Up. Shut up. That's enough. Don't say another word." Seeing his greatest secret about to be exposed, Lu Mingxiu immediately started screaming. Looking like a maddened beast with terrifying strength, there was no trace left of the weakling who couldn't even care for himself before. "Newman Xiao, quick, catch him. Don't let him get away." With determined eyes, Mu Xiao immediately grabbed my hand, dragged me into the hospital room, and locked the door from the inside. Lu Mingxiu hurriedly searched for the ink pad. He signaled to Mu Xiao with a wink. The two of them worked together to grab my finger and press it into the ink. Then they pressed my fingerprint onto the organ donation agreement. The two of them were trembling all over from the stress. Only now did they breathe a sigh of relief. But they completely failed to realize that from start to finish, I didn't resist at all. I was very cooperative as they forced me to leave my fingerprint. Much less did they see the meaningful smirk on my lips, as if I were looking at two idiots. Lu Mingxiu held the agreement and laughed maniacally. "Ha ha ha ha. So what if you know? I've endured enough over these years. The things that were rightfully mine, I can finally take them back." Excitement also sparkled in Mu Xiao's eyes, looking at me with smugness and mockery. Humiliations I had caused her. In the future, she will make me pay for them tenfold, 100-fold. And that woman Gu Baiji as well. Why was she born already at the finish line? Why is she so beautiful and brilliant? Mu Xiao hated her to the very bone. She wanted her to fall into the mud with me. I clicked my tongue and shook my head, feeling like I was still being a bit too modest. Should have been a bit more confident, and just dropped the words as if altogether. These two are definitely total idiots. With a half-smiling expression, I looked at them and said, "Forcing someone to sign an organ donation agreement is against the law. Are you sure that thing in your hand will even work? Mu Qiaoqiao thought I was just struggling in vain, so she didn't show any panic at all. Whether it's valid or not, your word doesn't matter anymore. This entire hospital is full of my people. I guarantee that before Gu Baizhi can come to save you, the surgery will already be finished. Lu Mingxiu hurriedly approached, snatching Jiang Huayan's phone and designer bag, admiring them with pure joy, caressing them with his greedy eyes. Then he looked at Jiang Huayan again, the huge diamond ring on his hand. He wanted that too, so he lunged to grab it. I sneered coldly and swung my hand. Using just this 500 yuan artificial diamond was enough to slice open that bastard's face, from the right jaw all the way to the right temple. A long, jagged scar. The flesh was turned inside out. Blood gushed out profusely, nearly disfiguring him completely. Lu Mingxiu clutched his face and screamed in agony. Mu Qiaoqiao rushed over to hold him. Lu Mingxiu pointed at me frantically. Sister Qiaoqiao, kill him for me. Kill him. My face hurts so much. Boo-hoo, it hurts. Mu Qiaoqiao nodded in distress. She leaped up to slap me. I dodged to the side like lightning, delivering a flying kick straight to her chest. The sound of bones cracking was clearly audible. Another pathetic scream echoed in the room. At this moment, Lu Mingxiu staggered. He pressed the emergency call button in the room. Very soon after, a group of young nurses kicked the door open and burst in. Lu Mingxiu signaled them with a wink. They immediately rushed to surround me, intending to drag me off for surgery by force. Lu Mingxiu also knew Gu Baizhi would definitely investigate. He had already thought of a way to deal with it. He would have someone take nude photos of me, right during the surgery, to threaten Gu Baizhi that if anything happened to Lu Mingxiu, then my nude photos would be spread all over the world. The Gu family values their reputation above all else. He didn't believe Gu Baizhi would, for Jiang Huayan's sake, throw away the Gu family's dignity. Even if Gu Baizhi insisted on seeking revenge, her company and her relatives would force her to compromise. He could only suffer in silence. Once Jiang Huayan was dead, he would pin all the blame on Mu Qiaoqiao, saying Mu Qiaoqiao plotted to seize the Jiang family's assets and wanted to kill Jiang Huayan, and that she even threatened him, using his mother's life to force him into it. Then he'd act pitiful to gain her sympathy and get close to her, relying on the fact that inside him he was carrying the only living organ from Jiang Huayan. Surely, out of longing for her late husband, she would gradually accept him. Lu Mingxiu was lost in his beautiful dream. As for me, I was already fed up. I snapped my fingers. From outside, 4 tall, muscular men in black suits immediately burst in, quickly knocking out the young nurses on the spot. I looked at Lu Mingxiu, who was in a state of total panic, forcing him back step by step. Lu Mingxiu thought I was coming to steal the agreement, so he held onto it for dear life. I just raised my hands and waved them in front of him. Then I rubbed my wrist with my finger, peeling off a layer of skin, peeling away the artificial skin stuck to my hand, tossing it straight at Lu Mingxiu's face. The fingerprint I just pressed wasn't my fingerprint at all. That agreement is, of course, invalid. In reality, under involuntary conditions, any agreement signed is null and void. But those 2 law-ignorant fools didn't know that, thinking that just forcing me to press my thumbprint would make it uniquely valid. Besides, even if I had pressed it myself, I could have just taken it back by force and ripped it to shreds. I just wanted to torture these 2 psychologically. To kill someone, you must destroy their heart first. Sure enough, Lu Mingxiu screamed, heedless of everything. He didn't care if the wound on his face was being torn open or not. He lunged forward and grabbed my hand, trying to force me to press my thumbprint again. But he got slapped so hard by the man in black that he went flying, spinning once in mid-air before crashing to the floor, landing right on Mu Qiaoqiao, who was groaning in pain. My mouth hung open in shock. It turns out martial arts movies didn't lie to me. People really can be slapped into a mid-air spin and fall to the ground like a pile of mush. I have to give these brothers a round of applause. They are all bodyguards Gu Baizhi arranged for me. They were waiting outside for my command just now. Another bodyguard brought over a black plastic bag. Young master, here's what you asked for. I smiled and turned to thank him. I took the bag and put on gloves, pulling out a bright red pig kidney from the bag, and threw it straight at Lu Mingxiu's face. Don't you want a kidney? A human kidney is no fun. Have this pig kidney to satisfy your craving. Splat. Splat. The kidneys kept hitting both of their faces. No matter how much they tried to dodge, they couldn't escape my pig kidney attack. I grabbed that animal's hair, stuffed a raw kidney into his mouth, and forced him to eat. Lu Mingxiu gagged and retched miserably. I used a pig kidney as a tool, grabbed Mu Qiaoqiao's hair and slapped her dog face repeatedly with it. Tisk tisk. The sound is just like when an actor hits a guy's butt. It sounds so pleasant to my ears. The crowd watching outside the hospital room felt a surge of satisfaction watching them. Who would have thought there'd be a reversal like this? This bastard faking an illness when he's perfectly fine. Daring to come here and hog medical resources for other patients. What an absolute crime. And those nurses, what kind of nurses are they? They're clearly just a gang of thugs. This is a private hospital, not their personal clinic. Yet they dared to collude and force someone to donate a kidney. If it weren't for this young man's skill, he would have been dragged off by these people to have his kidney removed. And they have the nerve to name it Phulakang Hospital. It should be called the Northern Myanmar Kidney Harvesting Group. I took off my gloves and smoothed my hair. I told the bodyguard, please clean up these kidneys. Take them back to feed the hounds in the backyard. Let's not waste food. The bodyguard obeyed, kicking the two pests out of the way. Then he cleaned up the pile of pig kidneys. I took my bag back. Took out my phone to check the time. Over 10 minutes had passed. The next main character should be appearing now. Sure enough, before my phone screen could even turn off, my father burst in aggressively. He pointed right at my face and yelled, "You animal, so you finally decided to contact me. Seeing your brother in trouble and not helping, then daring to insult your own parents. You don't have a despicable child like you. Why don't you just go and die?" Zhang Dongliang hadn't been able to contact me at all these past days. He used dozens of different numbers to call me, but I blocked every single one of them. He couldn't even get past the gates of the Gu residence. He went to Gu Beiser's company. He was always told she was on a business trip abroad, since I finally contacted him myself. No wonder he rushed over here as fast as he could, to force me into saving his eldest son. Jiang Huiyan watched the fat on his father's face tremble violently. I let out a cold smile. The hatred that had been building up in my heart for so long finally could no longer be suppressed. That's right, you two as a couple. How could you raise two such wicked children? The eldest is a murderer in prison awaiting execution. The second beats his father and scolds his mother, tearing the household register to pieces, both disloyal and unfilial. Humph. Isn't it said a child is spoiled by the mother? The fault lies with the one who raised them. I finished speaking and chuckled, showing my pearly white teeth, making the old man so angry he waved his arms, about to lunge at me. But he was stopped dead in his tracks by the bodyguards. In truth, Zhang Dongliang was just a fat, middle-aged man. His body had long been worn down by alcohol and lust. Just one bodyguard was enough to make him behave. Yet all four of them rushed forward to pin him down together. Actually, they wanted to use this chance to smear pig kidney filth and blood all over him. That foul, stinking smell made Zhang Dongliang so disgusted his eyes rolled back. "You unfilial son. Tell Gu buys you to release your brother right now. Do you hear me?" I found it laughable listening to him. The court already sentenced that brother to death. His appeals were rejected time and time again. Yet this old man is still dreaming of the impossible. Just then, Lu Mingshu crawled to Zhang Dongliang's side weeping. "Uncle Zhang, woo-hoo. Uncle Zhang, please save me. Zhang Huiyan has gone crazy, has been blinded by that rich woman. He wants to take my life, uncle." Seeing Lu Mingshu in such a pathetic state, Zhang Dongliang's expression changed instantly, filled with horror. He hurried to help him up. "Lu Mingshu, what happened to you? Did Zhang Huiyan do this to your face?" Lu Mingshu acted like he'd found a lifeline, nodding his head repeatedly. "It was him. He's the one who ruined my face. Boo-hoo. Uncle, save me. Don't worry, I'll definitely get justice for you. I'll make him kneel and apologize to you." I brushed my hair and said leisurely, "You're being too polite. Why still call each other uncle and nephew? With such a deep father-son bond between you, wouldn't it be better to just acknowledge each other? Why keep up this charade?" As soon as I finished those words, the surrounding air became terrifyingly silent. The nosy crowd outside the door immediately erupted. Wow, is it really this dramatic? Even while hooked up to IV drips, nothing can stop the public's passion for gossip. It's as if soaking up someone else's drama makes their own tumors shrink a bit. What nonsense are you talking about? Zhang Dongliang felt guilty and still wanted to hide it. Zhang Dongliang, could it be that Lu Mingshu isn't your son with the maid Qin Yi? Years ago, you and Qin Yi were childhood sweethearts. You were supposed to take the university entrance exam together, and you both passed. Who would have thought you'd trick her into giving up her chance to work and support your education? Then, for your own future, you heartlessly dumped her to marry my mother, a wealthy merchant's daughter. Qin Yi followed you to the city, but you tricked her with sweet words again. Then you even arranged to bring her into our home, publicly known as the maid. But in reality, she was your mistress. Lu Mingshu and I were born only a week apart. In other words, before my mother and Qin Yi got pregnant. You were like a rabbit running between two fields every night, carrying out operations between two women. You sure were busy sowing your seeds. Your stamina is quite impressive. Don't feed these pig kidneys to the dogs. It's much better to give them to you for nourishment. Zhang Dongliang's face turned purple and dark with resentment, both furious and panicked. He roared, "Stop talking. Shut up." He was about to strike, but he was still held tight, so I continued. So when Lu Mingxiu saw the eldest brother sentenced to death and saw the inheritance about to fall into my hands, how could he possibly be satisfied with that? That's why he staged this play to steal my kidney. He knew my health wasn't great. If I lost a kidney, I probably wouldn't last long. And because of the indulgence and the guilt you felt for them all this time, you would definitely leave the entire fortune to him. That's exactly why he made a move against me.
Tisk tisk. What a pity for you, Lu Mingxiu. There is one thing you don't know. The Jiang family has long been nothing but an empty shell. Jiang Dongliang begs me every single day. He'd probably even kneel and plead if he could, begging my wife for some spare change to save his pathetic, crumbling company. A few days ago, I heard the bankruptcy announcement has already been drafted, just waiting for the right moment to go public. Lu Mingxiu turned to his father in a panic. Is that true, father? Is that really the truth? Jiang Dongliang stammered, unable to speak. Cold sweat poured down his face. Lu Mingxiu was about to say something else, when suddenly a figure rushed in like a bolt of lightning. In the blink of an eye, she was right in front of Jiang Dongliang. She grabbed a wooden stick from the ground and delivered a heavy blow right to his forehead. You bastard! You scum! You wretched old man. So this is why you've been so good to that bastard child. No wonder you kept buying everything for that mother and son. It turns out you were all just a bunch of adulterers. I'm going to kill you. I will kill every last one of you. That was my own mother charging in like a mad woman. Of course I called her. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. She had heard everything while standing outside. As soon as she burst in, she delivered a preemptive strike. Jiang Dongliang couldn't react in time and was hit. He then slipped on the pig blood and tumbled to the floor. Madame Jiang straddled his fat belly and rained down blows on him, making him howl in pain as his head bled. I just stood there watching coldly, without the slightest intention to intervene or help. On the contrary, I felt immensely satisfied. Suddenly, I remembered my childhood days. My parents used to treat me just like this. At age 7, I worked my heart out to get perfect scores in 2 subjects. I excitedly showed my parents, hoping for praise, thinking I would see their happy smiles. Instead, my father's facial muscles twitched. He grabbed my hair and yanked my head back, then delivered a barrage of stinging slaps to my cheeks, simply because I did better than my 9-year-old brother. He thought it was a sign I wanted to fight my brother for the inheritance, that I had malicious ambitions since I was a child. The more I pleaded, the more I was beaten until blood leaked from my ears, nose, and mouth. That little child cried his heart out that day, while my mother sat nearby, leisurely eating expensive fruit. She glanced over and said, "Why bother with good grades in primary school? You're useless anyway. Might as well spend your time learning how to look good. So when you grow up and look handsome and pretty, you can help your father with some business deals." My brother was sitting not far away, indifferent, as if it weren't his business, keeping his head down, focused solely on playing games on his device, occasionally looking up to mock me, looking at me with the same contempt one has for a dog, then mouthing the words, "You idiot." To the outside world, they always acted like a happy, loving family. But inside, my life was worse than a dog's. Later, seeing me grow more and more handsome, they suddenly started buying me a lot of things, expensive designer clothes and shoes. It wasn't because they'd had a change of heart, but because they wanted to turn me into a brainless, pretty boy who only knew how to indulge in pleasure, making me lose the ability to compete for the inheritance, so they could eventually marry me off into a wealthy family, to bring benefits to their own household. Under such a terrible upbringing, I became someone extremely starved for affection, desperately craving family bonds to the point of madness. I poured my heart out to Lu Mingxiu, giving him everything I possibly could, simply because once when father tried to kick me, Lu Mingxiu stood in front of me and took the blow instead. I also gave my whole sincere heart to Mu Qiaoqiao, just because once when mother insulted my dignity, Mu Qiaoqiao stood up for me that one single time. Back then I was nothing but a tattered rag doll, sunk in fear and despair day after day. I had lost my very soul, leaving only a hollow shell, kneeling to pick up scraps of affection. But now I have completely awakened. I am no longer the Jiang Huiyan bound by fear. I will start loving myself properly, and love those dear to me who are by my side. The flow of memories paused. At this moment, Gu Baiji also rushed to the scene. Sadly, she missed the best part of the drama. I gave her a slight sulky punch. The doctor said the child is already dead. Then the milk finally comes in. "You're so late, you didn't get to see any of the show." Gu Baiji was between laughter and tears. What child has died? Jiang Huiyan immediately fell silent, realizing that she still knew nothing about the 2 little lives inside her womb. Now I remember to be careful. There were things I could say before, but now I mustn't utter a single word about it. I need to change the subject quickly. Do you believe now that I truly want to treat you well? I'll never let my stupidity take over again, and end up making a grave mistake. Gu Baiji gently stroked my head.
I believe in you for a long time. Ever since the first time you brought soup to me. Gu Baizi had removed all surveillance on me and didn't have a shred of doubt left about me. Just as the two were having a heart-to-heart talk. Then, a group of police officers burst into the room, and they quickly subdued everyone present at the scene. Jiang Dongliang had been beaten until he fell into a deep coma. His eyes rolled back as he lay there, convulsing violently on the floor. The nurses immediately rushed him away for emergency treatment. As for Mu Chao Chao, Madame Jiang, and Lu Mingshu, they were all swiftly slapped with handcuffs by the officers. They screamed like madmen, demanding to know why they were being arrested. The lead officer flashed a bright, eye-crinkling smile, and with immense patience he explained every detail. Someone has reported Jiang Dongliang for involvement in bribery, along with over 10 other major charges including murder and unfair competition. The Mu family company is also accused of hiring him, illegal smuggling, and the possession of prohibited substances. Miss Mu Chao Chao is also heavily implicated in these. Lu Mingshu and Mu Chao Chao also conspired to forge medical records, to force others into organ donation against their will. And finally, Madame Jiang, Li Hongmei for charges of gambling, theft, and many other offenses. All of you please follow us to the station immediately. The officer rubbed his hands together in pure excitement. This is truly a massive jackpot of a case. If we wrap this case up successfully, the year-end bonus will surely skyrocket. At this rate, the dream of buying a house and getting married is right within reach. They all began to wail and cry out in utter despair, begging Gu Baiji and Jiang Huayan to save them from this nightmare. Gu Baiji tilted her head slightly and asked me, "Honey, do you want me to step in?" I didn't give her an answer right away. Instead, I walked straight up to the police officer and softly uttered a single sentence. "Please, wait a moment." When they saw me speak, a flicker of fragile hope instantly ignited in their eyes. They actually thought that in the end, I wouldn't have the heart to abandon them.